Bryan, we saw you shouting into your glove after your final pitch of the night. What were the emotions that you were experiencing in that moment?
I guess a little bit of relief and pride, I guess, executing that pitch, but also just kind of, an outing that was a little bit all over the place, and then was able to get it together and, start doing kind of what I want to focus on doing. And, I guess a little bit of everything.
The way you were able to execute that pitch, your final pitch of the night, you get the trust to go back out there for the seventh. I mean, just what can you take away from this start in particular as you continue, not just this season, but going forward in your career?
Yeah, it means a lot. I think obviously you never want to come out of the first inning and set yourself up like that. But, stuff happens and you got to find a way to bear down and get outs. And, it's kind of all I was thinking. Obviously, you got to do a better job of coming out from pitch one and attacking the zone and not, falling behind so much. And then, you got to give in to good hitters. It's a lesson learned, and try to build off of it going forward.
Maybe it's the same team you faced in your debut. I mean, just how much have you learned about kind of slowing things down, especially when you get into a jam early in a game? Just given that it's the same opponent from back then to now, just being able to kind of cool everything down and get out of it.
Yeah, you want to take, all the drama out of it and what's going on and just kind of focus on what you got to do and take it pitch by pitch and just, continue to execute. And, those situations, you got into it because you try to do too much. And so now you try to, peel the layers back and just get back to basics and, those strike one, get ahead, pick your spots, and then go from there. So, obviously, like I said, not ideal, but you learn from it.
Maybe starting with the 2 punch-outs you had at the end of the first, what did you feel like you did a lot better from there moving forward?
Just a little bit more, clear and committed to start the at-bats. I think you get off to a good start. Then it just kind of puts you in a good rhythm for the rest of the at-bat when you kind of, you mess around, you fall behind 1-0, 2-0. You can't really find that groove, and you got to lay in, and then, you're giving them hittable pitches and hitters counts, and that's, especially a good lineup like that, it's the last thing you want to do. So get off to a good start, be intentional and aggressive early, and then, you kind of go from there.
For those 2 strikeouts, we saw Cal come out for a mound visit. Did he just kind of settle you down, remind you about attacking the zone, or what was that conversation like?
Yeah, it's basically just, good job getting that first pop out, control what you can control, and get back in the zone, go get I think we had 1 out at that point, and, go get a ground ball, and you're 1 pitch away from getting out of that inning with very minimal damage. So that's all you really try to do in those situations, is just minimize the damage, keep making good pitches, and control what you can control. The other stuff doesn't really matter. Just do your job.
You hold them hitless the 3rd time through the lineup. I don't think you've given up a hit the 3rd time through any of your 3 starts. What have you learned about getting that deep into the game and how you attack hitters once they've got a couple looks on you?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually kind of I don't know why, but I had this concept in my head today of like a video game, and it was like every level is like level 1, level 2, level 3. Like it's gonna get harder the further you go, and so like it's not like you put up 2 zeros and now you're just grooving. Like the next level just gets harder and harder and harder. So you got to continue to kind of relock in after you come out for the next inning, and it's just kind of an internal motivation, I guess, to just keep going.
Bryce talked yesterday about how encouraging it was that he was able to navigate through the lineup even when he wasn't necessarily showing his best stuff or got in the jam. Do you feel like that was the case for you today?
Yeah, for sure. Especially early on, very uncharacteristic, I guess, of just falling behind and getting off to a bad start. I feel like really try to pride myself on especially the first inning. You set the tone for the game, and getting ahead, that type of stuff. So not necessarily like pitch command and pitch shapes, but it's more of counts and winning those counts, and being ahead early and often, and that's kind of what I look at more. So yeah, it definitely means a lot to kind of have that rough first inning and then build off of it for the rest of the game.
How much did you appreciate the opportunity to go back out there for the 7th, especially, given everything that the bullpen's been through and where you guys are at, just kind of punctuating the outing there?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of trying to hide, making sure that I wasn't going to get taken out of that game. You wanted it bad. Obviously, I feel like when you're getting better throughout the game and when you're kind of losing steam, and today was definitely felt like I was getting better as the game went on. So it's understanding yourself too of am I feeling strong? Am I making good pitches and doing that consistently, or is it best in the team to go a different route? So you got to be honest with yourself there. But yeah, it definitely meant a lot to go back out and finish at 7th, and just kind of build on that moving forward.
What has this homestand done for you guys too? I mean, tough weekend in San Francisco, but now you've won 2 series, can go for the sweep tomorrow. It's both against division rivals. Just what can this do to springboard you guys? Yeah,
I think it's just kind of a reset. Obviously, early in the year, you want to get your feet under you and find some momentum, and it's kind of just like it's not getting too high or too low. It's just kind of continuing to play good baseball, and even though it's early. Obviously, we understand that all the games matter, and but no matter you lose some tough games in San Francisco, you come back here and win a couple of tough games. So it's just things that you try to build on and stay consistent, build that that foundation for the rest of the year. So, but yeah, super important. Obviously, good to win these series at home and go for the sweep tomorrow.
And in a game like today where the offense is doing so well, just how does that help your mindset going forward as you get later in the game too, knowing that you have that protection and you have that lead, like after that early start?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. I think it gives you some freedom to just kind of go after it, not try to be so fine going after certain guys, and just kind of, stay on the attack, kind of the mentality of just let them get themselves out. Don't try to, do too much, just go right at them. And, especially when they're putting up runs, you want to go back out and put up zeros after that. So staying on the attack, on the offensive, so to speak, I think that's super important when they're putting up runs like that.
Thanks, Bryan.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah, let's see. Outstanding ball game tonight. Again, kind of an offensive explosion. A couple of them, but not to be overshadowed by the job that Bryan Wu did. I think. In that first inning, it could have gone a completely different direction, and able to get out of it. 27 pitches, I think it was. But we talked a little bit earlier today about just his maturity, his poise. The way he's able to keep it calm, and to come back and get 7 innings out of him after that first inning, it was pretty remarkable. Just a great job by Bryan today, and then the bullpen took care of the rest. But offensively. Getting 4 early like that with the way that we did it, balls on the line, going the other way, Polo with a sac fly, Cal scores on the wild pitch, just a lot of driving the ball into the gaps and using the middle of the field like we talk about. So and then being able to do it again later in the ball game, adding on, Cal's homer is a big add-on run there. Continuing to swing the bat well and use the middle of the field.
Yeah, is this the type of outing that shows with his trajectory, given how young he is, that he really can become an elite starting pitcher?
Yeah, I mean that was exceptional tonight. I think with the way it could have gone, he kind of got roughed up a little bit there in that first inning, a bad break in the outfield on a miscommunication, and then he just went to work and didn't let up the rest of the way. And we've talked about his mindset when he gets out there. That was as good a mindset as we've seen, and it really paid off for him tonight.
From your perspective, what you got the 2 strikeouts in the first. What changed for him after that?
I think he. I don't know that anything changed even in the first inning. I mean, they were aggressive early. They got some hits on him. He was in the zone, but I think his command got a little bit better towards the edges of the plate. I thought he mixed in his secondaries pretty well tonight as well. But that his fastball is where he's able to really handle the at bats, and he had a really good fastball tonight.
Aside from the efficiency that he had the rest of the way, how much of the fact that he wasn't really throwing a whole lot of high-stress pitches play into you sending him back out there for the seventh?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's nice about getting a lead and getting a lead for your starter is that he can go out there and just do his thing. Bryan was able to do that tonight because we were able to get that 4 spot and then add on to it, make it a 5. And it allowed him to just get into his rhythm and get into his his speed. And he took over from there. It was a really nice outing for him.
You mentioned it earlier, but how critical is it for this offense not to always have to have the home run in order to sort of manufacture an inning like you did in the third?
Yeah, I mean, it is huge, and to see the ball on the line into the gaps, get to the wall, those are things. Guys running the bases hard, getting through. That's really what we're looking for, and they were able to really do that tonight in a big way. You start stacking hits back to back like that, you're going to score some runs, and the guys really came swinging tonight.
How much does the mentality of being aggressive on the base paths play into a play like Cal when he's able to score on the wild pitch, just constantly being on his toes and being able to get home in that moment?
Yeah, I mean he's a guy that wants to push the envelope on the bases too, and we've seen it. He's got a couple of stolen bases already, but he's aggressive. He's going to look to find the next 90 feet, and in this case it was 180 feet. He was able to keep moving by the ricochet. So yeah, I mean I think when these guys are on the bases, they're looking to be aggressive. When they're at the plate, they're looking to be aggressive to the middle of the field, and the two go hand in hand.
You talked during the last homestand about how you were seeing the right things, like with everyone getting on base, just not going over. How comforting is it to see during this homestead and this game, just all of that finally coming together for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we saw some really good at-bats earlier that just weren't able to convert. We had a lot of opportunities early where we hit line drives, and we saw a lot of diving plays on defense by the other's team. And now we're starting to find those holes and hit the balls hard. And, the at-bats have continued. We're just able to get them now into the outfield and on the grass and letting the guys run around to the bases. So, it's been there. It just hasn't, we haven't been able to find the holes, and now we've been able to find them.
In second game in a row, they loaded the bases in the first inning. They only got 1 run out of it. Just for Wu and Miller especially, but really the whole pitching staff, just how comforting is that to know that no matter the situation, even the worst possible situation, you guys are able to pull through that? Yeah, I mean, it is big. It's a big, mental shift that, Texas is a good club. They're a good offensive club, and they were swinging the bat early and put some runners on. But for Bryan to be able to just shut that down, it does give you confidence. It does give you momentum. You come off of the field feeling like you've accomplished something by just allowing the 1 run, and then offensively we were able to kind of take it from there, and it was just a big momentum shift in the game for sure.
Even when he's not gotten a hit, Randy with the walk, and then he's putting pressure on Rocker there at first. He's dancing at second, and then they don't score that inning, but then they come around and put more pressure on him in the next inning. How can he affect the game even when he's not getting a hit? Just his presence.
Yeah, I mean, really good eye at the plate, really good concept of the strike zone, and able to get on base a lot of times via the walk, and then that oftentimes ends up being a double because he's a good astute base stealer. Found a good jump and was able to take the base. So that kind of pressure, that kind of attention that he draws over at first base too, allows that hitter to maybe see a mistake or two. Whatever the case may be, Randy can affect the game in a lot of different ways, and that's what we've seen so far.
Astro's kind of been an unsung hero for you guys during this homestead, long at-bats and getting on base. Just what has he been like during this homestead, especially like with Ryan out?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a chance to get in there a little bit and get some regular at-bats, and we saw all this in spring training. He had some really good at-bats, saw a lot of left-on-left at-bats even, and some good ones from Stroh, and he's making the most of his opportunity and has swung the bat well. He's hit the ball on the line, towards the middle of the field, and seems to be in a really good spot.
Brady going to have to come in for extra sliding practice.
He hit that ball well. Let's put it that way.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.